My name is Brandon Payan. I've been a filmmaker now for about 6 years. Originally, I wanted to be a writer. I wrote a science fiction novel when I was 15, self-published it at 18, and I learned a lot from that experience. I was working at a fast food restaurant when I was 17, and a coworker and I came up with this story about a boy who's hired by death. We made him like a teenager. He's hired by death. He has like this really sad kind of household that he lives in. As time went on, my coworker said, you know, I'm not really that interested in this story anymore, so you go on and take it. So I did. And as time went on, I realized that it wasn't really gonna work as a book. I used to do short films with my friends. I didn't really know that they were called short films. I kind of just did them out of interest. So when I became an adult, I went to film school, and I still kept this story in my mind. And finally, I sat down one day and I wrote the script. That was 5 years ago. Since then, I've just been working, taking care of my family, but I've always wanted to make this movie. Death in Me is a film about a young man named Jeremy. He lives in poverty. He goes through a lot of hardship. He lost his father when he was really young. Was murdered right in front of him. So one day, he's late for school, and he's murdered by his bully. It was an accidental murder. The bully was just trying to kind of rough him up, and things went a little too far. So Jeremy wakes up hours later, not knowing what happened. He goes home, he starts finding these red envelopes in his mailbox addressed to him. And as it turns out, death brought him back and kind of drafted him to start taking out people on death's hit list. And in return, death gives Jeremy the go-ahead to murder the people who've wronged him in his life, like his stepfather, the bully at school, that sort of thing. So at first, Jeremy thinks that this is exciting, being young and kind of romanticizing violence like a lot of young people do, a lot of young men do. So after he starts committing these murders, he starts to realize that he's losing his humanity and his innocence, which is recaptured when he meets Hannah. She's kind of this idealistic version of what he wants to be. So they fall in love, and through her, Jeremy is able to redeem himself and decides, you know, in the film's climax, not to follow Death's orders any longer. And Death decides to fire back with another of his hired hands. And this all culminates in a standoff between Jeremy and Gary, this other character who has been working for Death for quite some time. And I'll leave the ending a big question mark for you out there because I don't want to spoil it for you. But let's just say Jeremy ultimately redeems himself, and we have a little room for a sequel at the end. So there's still more story to tell. The idea of the film is not to inspire violence, it's to show the reality of what violence can do to people on the grand scale. And on a smaller scale, it's a film about the underdog. Jeremy essentially becomes the underdog and has to fight back later on. On the smallest scale, which could be considered the grandest, the film is a love story between Hannah and Jeremy. We have some great people, some great talented people who are on this project, who are ready and willing to make this happen. Between all of us, we have close to about 30 years of experience in the film industry. My dream is to see this movie just get out there. I want it to touch somebody. I want somebody to see it, and I want them to understand what it's about. But mostly, I want to make it so that I can, you know, get it out there, get it off of my chest, so to speak. Because you know, these types of things, they weigh on your mind when you have a story to tell and you want to tell it passionately. Not a lot of people out there can understand what that's like. So only through you can we make this movie happen. If not, please just get the word out on Twitter, Facebook, and thank you. Thank you for watching.
Jeremy? Hey.
Hannah?
What are you reading?
Music.
Do you play?
No, but I've been known to listen from time to time.
I'm partial to the Gunrunners.
They would sound a lot better if they recorded in a burning house. At least the singer would. God, he screeches.
They're not so bad.
They did that one that goes...
Yeah, you probably shouldn't try to hum. You're not very good at it.
They did that one though, right?
Yeah. No, that was Brown 17.
Oh, that's right. Whatever happened to those guys?
They broke up.
Thank God.
Did you hear about Sean?
Only what the news says. It's funny how meaningless life is. People put so much into something that ends so easily.
That's why we have to make the most of it. What's wrong?
I have to go.